What's up, Bry?
Good evening, my friend. How are you?
We almost lost power again.
Is it a storm or is it
No,
just heat?
it's just heat and probably everybody using their AC. Uh, hey, chef.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Good.
I can hear you, chef. This is Brian. This is the Traverse City connection here with two guys tasting.
Okay, cool.
Um, our third, who's our screenwriter, Ken, will be popping in probably in the next 10-15 minutes.
Okay.
Um, but we can go ahead and get started. Um,
All right, tell me the format.
well, the format, we just talking.
Oh, good.
Basically, this is just like a conversation because, again, our goal is to create a community um, to bridge gaps over a dinner table with good wine, good food, and just great conversation. And so these are basically just get to know you sessions
Great.
for certain people that may or may not know you, may or may not know what you do, may or may not know your background. I know I didn't know you until you showed up at the vinyl tasting
Yeah.
and we just started geeking out.
Hmm.
And I realized that there are a lot of things that we have in common. Um, a lot of things that I think I know you can bring to the table as
Yeah.
far as helping us with this community of just open-minded people talking over food and wine.
Yeah.
And my first question is, um, when did you fall in love with wine and food?
Well, I'll
You got to
answer
read the bio, Chuck. If you read her bio, it's all right there.
But everybody
Started
else
back home.
doesn't know, Brian.
on my website, lastbitechef.com. Okay, you did your homework. Um, I yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Sorry, I was just thinking, I was just then reminiscing what's in my bio. Um, So I grew up with food as a big part of my life. And I definitely, and I make reference to this in that short bio, but I do think it's a cultural thing, that gathering around the table. Um, and every different cultural group has their own things that they focus on. But that through line of family around food is where it started for me.
Okay.
And, um, I went to college and majored in education and psychobiology uh, because I love to understand what makes people tick and act the way they do and learn the way they do. And that is sort of the foundation of who I am as a person. And I promise this will weave into the tapestry of my story. Um, and So when I was a young woman, I taught first grade in Detroit and um, loved it. I loved so many things about it. I loved the city of Detroit from the first time I visited in 1998 and then worked there. Um, and at the time I was married and had um, then got pregnant with my first child, as happens for young women, like, oh, okay, well now this is my journey. There's a little detour, there's a little pause. Um, and I think again, um, another through line is that yeah, you and I geeked out, and I think we do have some similarities about people coming together and the importance of that community and also just the evolution of a person. And I um, just turned 50, and that little baby is now 27 because that's how the maths. She teaches in Chicago, so and but she teaches eighth grade. She loves it. So I had one kid and suddenly turned into four, because because again, I find that controlled chaos of young kids um, very alluring, and I also find it the relationship between mother and child um, as like the chief nourisher. I find that to be a very holy space, and I mean that in like in all the spiritual ways, in addition to the human ways. And as I had a young family, I realized that the cooking I was doing when I was at home, and I had some part-time jobs teaching music and doing things like that to keep my mind busy. Um, but I realized that I had really developed this deep understanding of food that was more than a hobby. And even in my early 20s, I had this book that was like how to pick a culinary school, and it was a dream that it was out there, and I didn't know how it was going to happen, but it was one of those things where if you just say it to the universe and it bounces back enough times that it you find it, or it finds you, I should say. So then in my early 30s, mid 30s, I went to culinary school at Schoolcraft College. Um, yeah, love it. And I needed to understand, I was a proficient home chef at the time, but I needed to understand the difference in what makes a person pro. And I actually went back and forth for a while because I had done a 10 or 15-year independent study on culinary arts, and I was like, do I really need to go to culinary school? But I wanted to I'm a lifelong learner, so it doesn't matter where, what is my current focus, but I always want to know more to have a full grasp on it. So I went to culinary school, loved the program there. I was a grown-ass woman with 18, 19-year-old classmates. And so that pretty soon I ended up working there because, after I completed the program and I had this whole background in education, it was a very easy step um, to stay on and work. And I really loved that. Um,
So
I also,
very important question here, Chef.
yes.
And we'll get back. Um, as as a woman with Italian roots,
Uh-huh.
how hard is it to learn the classic French style, knowing that it's just plain wrong?
Are you Italian?
My wife is. I'm Italian by marriage.
Yeah, oh,
That's
that's
that's what.
important. It is, well, that's something that I didn't actually fully understand, and that is a reason why I'm so grateful that I went to school and to get that base of the historical French take on, the canonization of cuisine. Although now, after a lot of studying past that, and just that instinct to be a lifelong learner and constantly expose myself to things, I am disappointed and frustrated that that's the perspective that we have, that we have this like very white perspective on culinary school and culinary
Mhm.
arts, and I am not a fan that that's the main take. When you look at the global influence of the global cuisines and the influence on where we are currently, it is French cuisine is fantastic, and there's important parts of that foundation, but absolutely there's so many more higher and lower places to go and deeper tastes and textures. Anyway, on my 40th birthday, I treated myself to a trip to Blackberry Farm. And I don't know if anyone has heard of Blackberry Farm, but it's in Tennessee, and
Okay.
it is a culinary focused, I'd say, I guess it's a resort. It's a resort. Um, but it's farm to table. And on my 40th birthday, Alice Waters, who is one of my culinary heroes, was at Blackberry Farm. And so I got to interface with her, sit and have conversations with her. Um, and what's cool about Blackberry Farm is there's literally a farm on site, a very elegant barn, highest class cuisine. Um, and at that point, they also had that weekend, they had someone there from Hudson Vineyards. And I remember tasting wine at that point. Again, I was 40. I had consumed a lot of wine by that point. But I remembered drinking a wine that the vintner called Old Master. And I forget the exact blend, but I was wowed by this particular wine. And I came home and for the first time I ordered wine. I had it mailed to my house. I thought, okay, I do have a deeper understanding. Um, but the thing about wine is, and I don't have to tell you all, is the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know.
Yeah.
And like for someone who that's actually so refreshing for me because of my perfectionist streak, not being perfect, but always wanting to try and try my best to understand something fully. Um, you can't really. So it's just what I have loved about my journey into wine over the last 10 years is that it is just like all of other facets of my lifelong learning is that it's layers upon layers upon layers and just exposing myself to different things. You're never going to be able to read a book and learn everything about wine, the same as cooking. You just can't. And every time you think, I'm going to put down a flag here because I know everything about blah, 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 you know, you keep on learning and realize, man, I don't know anything, you
Yeah.
know, and I really appreciate that. Again, so I actually cracked open a bottle that I got from Spencer in Ann Arbor, um, and it's called Sufficiently Whelming. And the vineyard is Stagiaire. It's in Mendocino County, California, and
Oh,
um, I picked this one because I liked it when I did a tasting there several months ago, but the name stagiaire is means apprentice, and he makes reference to this on his website that he's always, always learning, always an apprentice, and that is his journey into wine. And that humility is something that I take with me in all areas of my life. Um, Sometimes it bites me in the ass, but because I don't acknowledge the depth that I do know and can teach other people. But anyways, that's the long and short story.
It's a beautiful story. I
yes.
think the first and foremost, this is Ken. This is the guy we are warning you about. His but the irony of the whole thing that you point out is how there's so much vast institutional knowledge out there that there's no real way to put your arms around it, but it's
Mhm.
so integral to what we're talking about today in its community, right? It's like
Yeah,
it's a key ingredient,
yeah.
but no one can explain it, which makes it even more fascinating.
And
Anyway.
I just enjoy that again. Middle-aged person. I've done a lot of life. I've had a lot of versions of myself, worn a lot of different hats. And so it's exciting to me to be at what I still consider the beginning of this journey. I've completed levels 1 and 2 of WSET. I'm looking to do the third level. Can't, but I want to go somewhere else to do it. I have to narrow that down. That's one of the things I wanted to get done in my 50th year. So that's a goal I want to achieve. And I guess I'll say one more thing. When I finished culinary school, I I wanted the glory of a restaurant job, of owning a restaurant, of um, Yeah, of the whole thing, the grind, the hustle. I love all of it. I love even the hard parts. That's what makes me a little crazy. Um, but I soon realized that in order to be a present mother, I couldn't work in a restaurant every night. Some women can do
Sure.
it. I couldn't do it the way that I wanted to do both jobs. So that's why I started this company, Last Bite Chef. And I figured while my kids were in school, they're all grown and out of the house now, but while they're in school, I can work and then I can be home at night. And that's what Last Bite Chef is. It's a private chef company. I make a new menu every week. It's seasonal. I buy as much local food as I can get from the farmers market or Argus Farm Stop here in Ann Arbor, or local farms that I partner with. And I go to their kitchens and I cook this food. And I felt pretty bad about myself for a while because I thought, I don't have a shiny restaurant. I don't have a sexy vibe restaurant, I don't have that. And I think it took, you know, maybe into my eighth or 10th year of doing it that I was like, oh, but here we are. This is exactly, if I think back to myself as a 20-year-old, this is why I got interested in food. It is that nourishing of humans and their whole selves. And in restaurants, we get to, when I've worked in restaurants, right? You're cooking for special occasions or regular evenings. Sure, you're feeding the body, you're nourishing, but it's a different level of a different depth of nourishing when I can cook for a family and then at night when the parents have both worked and the kids have gone to school, they can sit at their table and have a conversation with each other and they don't have to worry about the food and they get restaurant quality food at home. And that I feel blessed to do. And I truly am grateful that that's how this has evolved for me.
So it's not a meal replacement plan in that you come in first part of the week and prep the entire week. You do it on a case by case basis, or how
No,
does that?
well, sorry, finish your question.
So I guess I'm trying to wrap to understand your model a little further, and forgive me. The
No problem.
just trying to um, you made the point of cooking in that person's kitchen.
Mhm.
And so what I thought you were talking about is like a meal replacement plan where they hire you, you can lay out 5 meals for their working week and then set them up in that way.
I do
But you're
that.
actually you do that.
I
Okay.
do that. It's sometimes I also go at dinner time and cook if they're having family in town or something. Then I
Okay.
also have a kitchen that I rent because there are some days that I cook for two or three families in one day, so I cannot possibly, go do that. So
Yeah,
instead I layer them all and I do three families at once in a commercial kitchen and then deliver it to their houses.
got it.
But then I do a lot of catering, pop-up
Hmm.
caters, and primarily, again, to circle all the way back, I love to teach most of all.
Hmm.
So when I taught at Washtenaw for a while, but they closed their culinary program, which is such a
Very cool.
mistake. Um, so I do some private teaching, and I'm always looking for other bigger opportunities, and I think that's my next move, frankly. So.
So so the reason why I thought of that, wanted some clarification, is because you make an interesting point on how um, you are helping a family in a way that I hadn't necessarily thought of. So for my where I thought you were going to go, where my experience is, especially at the winery these days, is that you're part of this experience that is providing a great memory
Mhm.
for this group, whether it's a wedding or whether
Yeah.
it's, but you actually are addressing something that I was way over my head for a minute there, that you're actually fulfilling this, and I like the way that you use the word nourishing. You're nourishing this particular um, time
Mhm.
that these working model parents don't necessarily have, but they're able to provide this because of you to their family and actually sit around a table if they wish and have dinner and the community type of discussion. So that's great. I mean, that's,
Yeah, and that fills me emotionally. Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Now, to be honest, a lot of times I say, well, here's how I would plate it, this and this together. And then they look at me exhausted and they're like, no, no, I stand in front of the fridge and I just eat it right out of the container. That's the reality of being a parent or an exhausted adult. Like,
Sure. Yeah.
sure, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna make it real fancy, chef. No, I'm just gonna eat it. But
I can
um,
appreciate that too.
absolutely. I think what drew me into wine in general, certainly first was the flavor, but also the way that it parallels um, the same reasons why I love food. To start with, to literally start at a farm and understand things like the soil and why it affects the
Hmm.
vegetables, and then why um, something tastes the way it does. And some, people often ask me for events, can you point me to the part of your website where you have menus? And I don't do that for
Mm.
catering. I make a new menu every time. And that's for me, to be honest. But it's also because I need to go to the farmer's market and see, or I need to know, oh, it's going to be like this
Right.
week of August. So there's going to be this in abundance, that in abundance. I know these farmers, and I really let the ingredients do, be the starting place and make the decision.
Mhm.
Because if you go the other way, you get caught in some places sometimes where I'm sure we've all had those meals where somebody really wanted to make this particular dish, but the raw ingredients aren't
weren't available,
no.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
or
What
weren't the, or you went to the market and they weren't the best, and you didn't even want to
Yeah.
risk it.
Yeah, for real, for real.
in the wine business, Ken, we call that vintage variation. And
Yeah.
in the
Thank
old world, what we would do is, in all the traditional old world regions, they actually let the wine be exactly what Chef is talking about. The farming will let the wine speak for itself. Whereas in the
Okay.
new world, we got into the very serious science edge of let's plant it in this spot. So at 3 p.m., the sun's hitting it at this angle and it's providing this much sugar. And then what they can't get in the vineyard in the new world, they put in the cellar and try to manipulate it more that way. But but I think the pendulum is swinging back, where now we are starting to let the ingredients themselves sing because we care for what we're putting in our bodies and we're trying to have low intervention everything, to understand what's in front of us,
And I
especially on a
think
plate.
also, yeah, again, it requires a certain amount of humility to say, this ingredient and its genes existed before I did. So
Yeah.
I can't go and try to make it something that it's not supposed to be. It's paying respect to what's there. And literally Mother Nature, some years, as you know, in wine can be like, nah.
Hmm.
Or up in Traverse, no cherries. Like
Hmm.
sometimes it's just like that. So and those elements I love. That's to me what keeps it intellectually interesting.
Yeah, but I say this especially a lot more these days because it's ever more true with what we're dealing with. Um, but farming is one of those businesses that you can put 100% in, and they say you get in what you or you get out what you put into it.
Mhm.
Farming ain't that way. They don't play by that rules over
You can't.
there. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned the different um, cultures in cooking.
Mhm.
Um, my favorite culture of cooking is basically New Orleans because of
Oh,
all of the different,
me too.
you know, it's the French, the Italian, the Spanish, the African. It's all of those blended
Yes.
together to
Yes.
create a cuisine that speaks to everyone. And
I have two adult children a couple rooms over who are watching The Princess and the Frog right now. And as soon as I put that movie on, I was like, damn it, I've got to go on this podcast and I just want to see Tiana make the gumbo. You know, and I'm not even, I wish I was making up that story just to be cute, but it's real. I agree. And those intersections where cultures come together historically and you get a new cuisine out of it, I just find that fascinating. And I don't think a lot of Americans understand that. And that's something that you know, when I make a menu every week, I try to pull in some flavors to kind of awaken people's senses and expectations to get it off of the norm of what they see online or what their mother cooked and so they cook it. And not that there's anything wrong with that. Some of that is fantastic, but also I appreciate the exposure to everything, especially where there's those intersections.
Yeah. Because I think the same sort of intersections probably occur, what is that, in the Basque region,
Yes, yes.
as well as in Alsace,
Yep.
and probably even Alto Adige, northern Italy, to
Absolutely.
where you're close to so many borders and it influences just come from everywhere.
Yeah. And Italy in particular, I mean, I was lucky enough, a friend invited me to join her on a birthday trip last year, so I got to go to Positano, which is um, the place that my great grandfather immigrated from. It's a tourist trap now. It's stunningly beautiful, but it's a tourist trap. But I particularly love in Italy how, I mean, if you look at the bottom of the boot and the climate there compared to where you're talking about in northern Italy, those are like absolutely different. They grow different grapes, they grow different produce, and just that little boot really gives you a full range of flavors.
Definitely. Definitely.
And that's real exciting for me. Yeah.
Especially the small tomatoes, the Vesuvian tomatoes.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Brian, I'm kind of mad at Brian because he was actually in one of my favorite regions that I've studied it extensively, but I've never been. But he went to Puglia,
Mm.
and
I've
I
never.
always tell people that you have the influence of the Adriatic, the influence of the Mediterranean, um, and just a lot of different, seafarers went through that area.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's a ton of different influences, Greek and everything else.
Yeah.
So
And that whole Mediterranean, it's a similar thing. There's through lines of cuisine and beverage, but in where people traveled. Um,
Mhm.
and I also like as a white American like to take a pause and sort of give gratitude to everybody who came to America or was brought to America against their will and the cuisine they brought with them. That is so fucking powerful. I'm sorry about the F-bomb.
no,
Sorry.
hey,
Keep them coming.
You can bleep them
Yeah.
out. But like that is so powerful to me. And I feel like wine definitely has a similar thread. But again, the intersection of history and food, and history and wine, my brain needs to be engaged as well whenever whenever I'm involved in these things. So that gets me excited.
yeah, no, just the history of rice
Yeah.
in the Americas, but you have to learn about rice growing in Western Africa.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, it's just little itty bitty things like that change the focus. But again, if you're not discussing this, and this is the type of discussions that need to be had over tables
Yes.
with these foods,
Yes.
so that people can understand that this country is diverse, and diversity is not bad. Um,
Diversity is glory. Did you
right.
read Michael Twitty's book called Rice? Do you know who Michael Twitty is? He's a chef. Um,
I,
and
I probably came across probably some of the stuff he's talked about.
yeah.
Because I forgot my boy who did the series High on the Hog.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes.
That
Yes.
and he went so deep, it was crazy.
It was that was church for me. I was, like watching that series and reading, and then going and reading Jessica Harris's book after that. I mean,
Yeah,
that to me, that's what food is about, and that's what, yes, wine, but that is that again. That's why I'm in this. Yes, things taste great, but you got to pause and understand the history and the humans that were behind all of this. And
correct.
the food tastes better. It makes the wine taste better. That's why, that story, that detour story of sitting next to Alice Waters, um, for food and wine, when you're in a space, and I'm sure you all have experienced this, when you're in a space that is rich in gratitude and in a depth of soul, things taste better.
Yeah,
I mean, we are designed for that experience.
yeah,
It's not supposed to be the way that it is in some American facets right now, where we eat as fast as we can. We all do that.
yeah.
I do that too. But that's literally just fuel for the body. But the true nourishment comes when you pause and you understand the full depth of it. I mean, yeah, I mean, I could go on and on. So maybe you
Yeah.
have.
Well, Ken is probably still working on this opportunity for us to do some stuff down in Louisiana and New Orleans.
Let me
And what are
meet,
you doing?
let me meet you down there.
I took
For real.
a couple notes here on my
Blackberry Farms, Tennessee. Yeah, I see that. I see that, Ken.
Okay, Ken.
Yeah,
Not the
but
evolution
again,
of the hot dog.
doing this stuff down in New Orleans, because I always say my come to Jesus moment was I went to New Orleans and went to Dookie Chase, and we got there too early. They had not started dinner service yet.
Okay.
And so, but they let us in because it started raining. I met Leah Chase's grandson, who was the maitre d' that night.
Wow.
And we got in there, started walking around. And I just walked up and asked her, I said, well, is your grandma here? She said, yeah, she in the back cooking. And I said, would she mind coming out and talking to us for a second? He said, yeah, give me a minute. So I always tell people this. I was so nervous. I had asked for some water, so I had this water. And I got so nervous when she came out, I spilled the water all over my polo shirt. So the photo that I took with Leah Chase and my older sister, I had this big
You're
old water
drooling.
stain on my polo shirt because
My lip.
I was literally in the presence of an icon, a legend, whatever you want to call her. But she also told me something that I didn't know, which was she came up to Michigan once a year for 2 nights to do fundraising dinners for Madonna College.
Oh wow!
Yes, and it was like 2 nights. It was $100 top each night, and she would cook, and the proceeds would go to a scholarship at Madonna College. And so we had a nice discussion. And when I see all of the other people that got to talk to that lady, and I realized I was one of them.
Yeah, you're lucky.
And just the food, and I can tell you, I've been there since her passing, and I'm sorry, but the food ain't the same.
No way. I mean,
the food ain't
Never
the same.
is.
No.
My mom used to do some stuff that was just, and it was oh my Lord, just beautiful stuff. But just that area itself lends itself to just seeing what can come from people working together and creating something. And you can say it was by accident, but to be perfectly honest, you can go to different parts of the parishes around New Orleans, and the gumbo is different. Some will use tomatoes. Some say, "What are you putting tomatoes in that for?"
That's right. Right.
So
which one are you, Chuck? Tomato or no tomato?
To be perfectly honest, I have an affinity for both. It depends upon I learned a long time ago. It's all about who cooked it and where they sourced their items from. Because you can have somebody, like I said, they went into the market, they thought they had some great tomatoes, and it didn't turn out the way it normally did.
Yep.
So I always say it's always a chef. Like Brian, we always talk. It is where it's grown and who the winemaker is when we're talking about wine.
Yeah.
Because to me, a good winemaker is going to see the magnificence of the fruit that came in and say, I ain't trying to mess this up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
then
was
you get
gonna do X, Y, and Z, but now it's this, and I'm
right,
gonna yeah.
right. Or they're going, okay, you get the wine in barrel, it's not, or you get the wine in tank or in barrel, and it's not kind of sort of tasting the way you want it to, but you remember you got some other stuff over in this other tank. Let's blend these two together and see what happens.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, again, winemaking is like chefing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you are taking the ingredients you have and trying to make the best dish that you can.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Is there wine? I don't know that much about Louisiana and wine. Is there wine down there? Are there?
Don't get me started.
All right. Well, give me a.
It's muscat. It's primarily muscadine that grows well down there because it's generally. I have not seen too much Vitis vinifera grapes that are growing down there, but muscadine grows extremely. It grows wild and you can cultivate it. And you can make a swath of different. Most people only think of muscadine as sweet wine, but there's a bunch of different dry muscadine wines out there.
And I have a theory on that. It's if I understand, it could have something to do with the thickness of the muscadine grape.
Yeah,
and
the
here's
skins.
why: a lot of your molds and mildews, for example, the way that they form on fruit. So for example, things that start with Pinot are very susceptible to disease, right? That's why they say Pinot Noir is so hard to work with because they're very thin skins. They're tight clusters. The word Pinot actually translates to pine cone. So the berries are very tight. And you can have a great season and get it in the cellar. And once you start to destem the fruit, you find a bunch of mold or stuff in the inside that's going to cause it to go awry. Now, all of that to be said, because of the humidity that a lot of these areas that are growing muscadine are in is off the charts. I mean, we think we're off the charts up here in northern Michigan with being next to the water, but it's heat and precipitation, and so that's a breeding ground for molds and funguses. And so I say all of that because I don't think vinifera would be able to survive in comparison to what's actually working indigenously there.
Yeah. And just to give you an inference of muscadine grapes and how they grow, we interviewed my friend Dr. Jeffrey Stewart, who did her doctorate studying the muscadine grape.
Oh.
So she was growing some stuff in her backyard. She still does not know how this happened, but her theory is that she literally had some muscadine vines growing in dirt on her back porch, and she was moving it or transferring the vines from pot to pot, discarded the dirt in her backyard. Now she literally has muscadine grapes that are growing low line in and out of her grass over concrete.
Wow.
Because she sent me a picture and she just said, Chuck, can you tell me what that is? And she had always told me that muscadine grape leaves are very, very, very different than Vitis grape leaves. And so I'm looking, and first I said, is that clover or something? And then I took a deep close. I said, wait a minute, are those muscadines? And she said, yeah. And she basically said she just dumped the dirt and they just started going wild in her backyard.
And what does she do that for her work? That's what her.
Well, no, she's a scientist by nature, but that is where she's moving towards. Okay. Because after she found these vines, she literally found a friend of hers that has some vacant lots, and she's about to start a muscadine nursery down in Alabama.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So all that to say, that's the reason why we got to go down to New Orleans.
Okay.
And
I'm working.
because
All right.
I know
Do it.
Ken is on his way. So
Wait, literally? You going soon?
Maybe so. I was gonna raise my hand because I wanted to say something. So first of all, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I am the novice person when it comes to wine up to guys tasting. You know, I'm always when we do these interviews, I always say this, but I'm literally just a student. That's why for the most part I just kind of sit here and just watch because listening to Brian and Chuck always talk about the intricacies of making wine in the different regions where different grapes grow, and if it's from here in Michigan to Italy to Alabama to wherever, I just sit back and just listen like a student.
There's so
Uh,
much. So much. Yeah.
but I just want to say it's a pleasure to meet you. Like I said, I always take notes when we do these interviews. So I wrote down Blackberry Farm. I wrote down your name. I wrote down your business. I definitely would like to have you cook a meal for me and my wife and our
Well,
13-year-old. We're in that working parent category,
yeah.
especially with schools, because school will be back in about God 7, 8 weeks. So be back on that work school hustle.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the people that opens up the fridge and just stares at it and like, okay, what am I going to cook? Or what did I not take out of the freezer the night before to make something?
Right.
So I and what you do.
Yeah. Well, I would love to maybe offline or in an email conversation later, we can find a time that we could share a meal together. I mean, I'm happy to cook, but I would also like to do that separately um, to continue this conversation.
Oh yeah, for
Chef,
sure.
Yeah, or plan
if
some
other people are interested, you if you felt like you wanted other people to know, feel free to state how they contact you or what website they should look you up because Chuck will cut this up and put it online at some point.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
And so,
yeah. I'll do the little shorts right after we tape tonight, and those will probably be posted on Instagram and YouTube by the morning or by late afternoon tomorrow.
Okay.
And I just, as the and this way, Chef, my background primarily is screenwriting, filmmaking, production.
Oh,
Uh,
awesome.
because ultimately, our goal is to have a TV show that features Brian and Chuck, doing their thing, talking about wine and showing up their personalities and all of that. But an idea just popped in my head, gentlemen. Maybe we could do some kind of event with the chef to really show off her talents. Maybe have some kind of event where we can have people come in and she cooks for them, and you guys do your wine education
Yeah,
bit,
I'm
and
game.
you
Let's do
know
it.
maybe we could film it too.
Well, my goal has always been to do a Detroit Iron Chef competition.
Okay.
what?
Where you,
Wait a minute. Why you got to take it to that level, Chuck? I mean,
There's
we're
something
just sitting here talking about building community and having some wine and some food.
well, no, that is building community. That is building community.
for you to be like,
You give three chefs a lamb shank and say go to it.
And let me guess, you're a judge, right? You're the
No,
judge.
I'm not a judge. No, there's going to be other people that are going to be judges. I just thought it would be a great if we find a commercial kitchen somewhere that allows us to be able to videotape while they're cooking and all that other stuff. I think that would be an amazing way to open up the minds of people, because I don't care what anybody says. If you ever watched Iron Chef, there was a lot of community being built,
Yeah.
even during competition.
I agree.
Sure.
I agree. Especially the old school one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I stopped watching Food Network in the 2000, like In the 90s, it was my jam when it was like real cooking and real learning. Now it's mostly,
Well,
nonsense to me, but
You're not a big guys grocery games person.
well,
well, don't get me wrong. Sure, I could get lost in that a little bit. But as far as me sitting there as a student and a learner, I don't look at it with that lens anymore. Background food noise, yes. Chopped, I'm there for Chopped. I love it.
well, who was it?
So
The guy on Iron Chef that would always start it off going a la cuisine.
Yeah,
That guy has a major impact or influence on Instagram now, where his son just brings him stuff and says, "Dad, make this make this a fine dining meal."
wait, are you talking about Morimoto?
I think is it more? No, it's not Morimoto. It was Morimoto was one of the Iron Chefs. This was the guy that would always start the show. Was it Alton Brown would always be going around interviewing people, but this guy would start the show.
Okay.
He was an Asian guy, but now his son just brings him stuff,
Well,
and
I
so
think the show actually started as a Japanese show. I mean,
yeah,
the really earliest episodes, it was subtitle. I mean, it was
correct,
dubbed. Yeah,
yeah, and those are kind of the best ones, though. To be
absolutely.
perfectly honest,
That's real. That's real. Yeah.
I have two suggestions. I mean, just I'm a creator, so I'm always thinking of things.
Same.
So there are two things we could possibly do here, Chuck, to satisfy your dream.
yes, sir.
One is we can have the chef here, Chef Allison, be the host of this Iron Chef ish type show. Or we could, I don't know if you guys, because I watch Food Network a lot for, just if I get time watching sports, I'll watch
Yeah, yeah.
Diners, Drivers, and Drives.
Oh, I love that. And then I'm always looking to see, am I going to that city soon? Am I gonna?
Then I'll watch every once in a while, like, what's his name? Beat Bobby Flay, I think it is.
Yeah,
So, so we could do like a Detroit version of Beat Bobby Flay, where Chef Allison, you could either be the host of the show, or you could be the chef that the other chefs try to beat.
I'll
Or you
be
could
any
do
part of it that you want. We can discuss that in the future. I do want to, again, also because because I'm out here in Ypsi and Ann Arbor where I mostly work. There's a lot of great Detroit chefs too. And so absolutely I'm all about collaboration and I will be whatever part of it you want me to be. I would love to be part of it.
yeah.
put wine into it, and
Well,
Brian.
You better say wine, Ken.
Yeah,
Why
It
wine
has to be wine.
and
Cut
wine.
water,
well,
Brian. We can't do a cut water tasting.
Hey,
That's a sponsor now.
yeah,
Don't give him free time.
I'm gonna have to make a vinaigrette with a pineapple margarita water.
no, I'm drinking my Filipino rum tonight.
Oh, what is that?
It's a double barrel Filipino rum where it's like a blend. It's a blend of 16 years and 5-year-old rum from the Philippines. A lot of people don't realize that the Philippines were a major sugar producer,
Oh,
and most islands that are major sugar producers make rum. So somebody turned me on to the rum from the Philippines. My favorite rum for the longest time is anything from the Virgin Islands.
mhm.
But Philippines are becoming a very close second.
I haven't tried it before.
I know, Chuck. You gotta share that information. You just every time we come on here, you're always drinking these exotic liquors. You don't share.
That's the point of the show, Ken. That's the point.
Not to share it before, though. I think if we were all drinking it, then we could talk about the tasting notes.
It's true.
Well, that's next for us because we're working on some tequila people, some whiskey people
Nice.
that are about. There's a tequila person. They're actually based in Muskegon,
Okay.
but they're about to launch their tequila hopefully later this year. And was it Leaper's Fork? I think is a Tennessee whiskey. that is about to launch in Michigan.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know
So
what I'm looking for? I don't know how long you intend to go, but I just wanted to say, um, I would love to be part of an event where I can just do some more tasting and some more talking about wines. You know,
Easy. We can do that.
like,
oh yeah. That's the thing. We just crossed the 50 subscriber threshold on YouTube. So now we can do some live events.
okay.
And so it would be something where, I've been trying to figure out how we can do this, and we could do it remotely. Each one of us meets at like our favorite watering hole and jumps on.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'd go wherever you are too if you wanted to sit two or three or four in a room. I mean, I don't know. Brian, are you in Traverse right now?
I am. But I'm like in 2 weeks I'll be at Wingate Country Club, so I'm in market quite a bit. So it'd be pretty easy to tack something on if we wanted.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of these dates we've got to come to conclusion on.
Yeah.
Ken, when do you go to Louisiana?
It would be either the next couple months, either August or September.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be way
Yep.
cooler in September.
Yeah, for sure.
So I have a
Because
question here. This is something that Brian and Chuck we haven't done in a minute. So, Chef, when I first met these guys, again, I'm the novice. I would always ask these guys questions, and we did it some of our earlier podcasts, like a quick take of wine pairings.
Mhm.
So what I would do is I think like the most wildest food and ask Brian and Chuck what to pair it with. So I would like to do that right now,
Okay,
since
let's do it.
you're
Let's play. Let's play.
all
I
right.
thought you'd
So
never ask, Ken.
okay, so I'm gonna start with something a little easy. So, what's a good wine to pair with a cheeseburger from McDonald's?
Hmm. A
Chuck, you're
cheeseburger.
first.
Cheeseburger from McDonald's.
Does it
Muscadine, Chuck.
be
Muscadine with the
McDonald's?
cheeseburger from
No, 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 no. Oh, cheeseburger from McDonald's.
Cheeseburger.
Um,
My
Well, you
gut
got
is this something bubbly and bright to wash that down. Like, you know, like I don't think you're not going to try to pair something that is, at least in my, again, limited, I mean, I've been learning about wine for 10 years, but it's still, again, it feels like nothing. Um, there are correct me if I'm wrong, Chuck and Brian, but you either try to pick a wine that aligns with the food in a way that accentuates it, or you try to pick something that's a contrast. And I'm not sure with the McDonald's cheeseburger you would go for like a nice, voluptuous red. I'm thinking wash it down with something white and bubbly.
I can buy into that. I mean, that makes perfect sense to me. I'm interested to see where Chuck's going here. What
I
what get to venture off somewhere.
He's about to go get his
Okay.
Big Mac, I think.
this is Filkins Anthos.
Okay.
That's what you're choosing. I gotta write it down.
This is 79% Cabernet Sauvignon, 21% Syrah.
Mm-hmm.
From
Okay.
Filkins. I tasted this during the Frontier tasting.
Where's
And
the fruit from?
the fruit is from Lake Michigan Shore.
Oh,
Okay.
The fruit is from Lake Michigan Shore. Filkins, I think, is the old Karma Vista site.
Yep, Joe Herman's place. Yep.
Yeah. And so there, I met their winemaker, and I was just like, he brought this, and this wasn't on their list that day. He
oh,
just
that's
brought it
always
down to taste it. And to be perfectly honest, I'm putting this in the realm with some of Jim Lester's stuff and how well it
really.
drinks.
Well, that Italian winemaker via Napa is going to start really turning some heads in Southwest Michigan, and they need that. Absolutely need that.
Tell me more about that.
I don't remember the young man's name, but I
Well,
think he's an
I don't
Italian,
remember his name either, but I remember his stuff was really, really good.
and he came in from Napa. So Joe Herman is a Centennial farm. The Herman family owned this farm somewhere. I want to say Baroda, Michigan. Um, Actually, no, I think he's more Coloma.
Oh,
Um, and and so this is going to be a quick history of so a little insight. I was president of the industry for 5 years, so I am probably a little too deep than I should be right now. But the reality of the situation is that Michigan farms in Southwest Michigan first priority was servicing Welch's grape juice. So we'll start there.
real. Okay.
We'll start there, and they're farmers, so they grow fruit as their job. I get it. It's beautiful, actually. So peaches, apples, plums, grapes, whatever, strawberries, blueberries. Joe Herman's a big blueberry farmer. And what ends up happening is that, um, St. Julian, over 100 years ago now, was one of the first wineries. And the reason why they're significant is because they're still open. That started to convert a lot of those fruits that they were making into wine, into a commodity. And so the point I'm making is that they were farms first there, where in northern Michigan, northwestern Michigan, the intent was always to make wine. So the farming philosophy was too different. And that's kind of been the chasm between both coasts for the past 40 years is the people that were wine first were in Northwest Michigan and have brought attention to the industry, and those that were farms first, and you see it in Northwest Michigan now with cherry farmers, they're all transitioning to grapes, and some of them are wineries now, because you still need to make a living. And so what has been the chasm is that most Michigan's accolades were coming from Northwest Michigan, and Southwest Michigan needs that type of person to come in and convince people that there's a difference down there. They've been doing it for a long time. In fact, that Cabernet Sauvignon clone that I think that is being used in there is introduced by Fen Valley down in Fenville. I was talking to Brian L'Esperance a couple of years ago and had some of his Cabernet Sauvignon from 24 harvest. It was fantastic. It was Bordeaux style, Bordeaux quality Cabernet Sauvignon that they're growing down there. So that doesn't surprise me. That's the long story of why I say that.
Yeah, it blew my mind when I tasted it. I was just like, because he had a straight Syrah, and then he had a Pinot Noir that was literally more full-bodied and robust than this blend. This blend was drinking just velvety smooth. It's a 2022 vintage.
Where do you think I can get that down here?
The Royce has it because that's where I got it.
There you go.
Okay.
The Royce in downtown Detroit has it by the bottle. Because as soon as I got home, I hit him up. I was like, okay, where can I get this? And no, in fact, I hit Shane Nicholson up from Eagle Eye.
Oh, okay.
And Shane told me go to the Royce. So if I can send you to Shane, Shane will tell you what's down. He may know someone down in Ann Arbor that has it.
I can ask my friend. I know somebody who works at Eagle Eye. We can.
Who, Chad?
Yeah, I can ask
So Ken, to answer your question, I have a few questions. Number one, is the cheese melted?
Oh, here we go.
Oh, okay.
I think we're using a McDonald's cheeseburger. I think it is melted.
I mean, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Number two, the onions that are on that cheeseburger, are they always on the one side on top of the pickle, or is it spread out evenly?
Wow.
I
Depends
want to
on
say
who
this.
made it.
I want to say for the sake of this conversation, it's all spread out, and the cheese
And
is
and
melted.
and how big is the patty? Am I eating mostly bread, or am I eating some sort of substance in the middle?
But McDonald's
Uh,
is mostly bread.
Yeah.
yeah, unless
Okay.
it's like a maybe a quarter pounder or a double quarter pounder with
Mhm.
cheese. And my son, he loves eating double quarter pound because he's young, he's 13, he's
Sure.
sticky.
Yeah.
Needs it.
His
Big Macs are
metabolism,
overrated.
yeah, his metabolism can just goes like very quick,
Yeah.
so he can absorb all that. Whereas me, I just stick to the cheeseburgers.
Mm-hmm.
Understand. So if I was having all bun and the onions are on one side, I would have a West Coast Chardonnay. A
The
lot of
cheese,
bread, a
This is
lot of
this is awesome. Okay, West Coast Chardonnay for all bun and cheese.
yeah,
Onion
because
on
of the because because the West Coast Chardonnay has gone through malolactic fermentation. The lactic acid has eaten the malic acid and has started to produce diacetyl. So you have some of the cream and you have some of the cheese overtones that go with it. As well as if it's gone through Sir Lee, then it has some yeast notes. And so
Yeasty and
that bread
bready
is,
notes. Yeah.
there you go.
Okay.
So that's all, but if there's a little bit of meat in there and a pickle,
Okay.
there's usually pickles in the cheeseburger.
then I'm going Gruner Veltliner.
Okay. Okay. I'm with you on that. Okay.
Okay.
Wow, that's pretty fancy. So next time I go to McDonald's, I want to spice up a little bit.
It's
I
true.
put, I won't get the Coke.
Just text me, Ken. I will set you up.
I'm gonna text you. I definitely will.
Right. But
Cheese
either way, you're not,
fries.
yeah. Yeah. You're not going to go a big, red cab sauv or anything.
Uh,
Although Chuck said,
Chuck did.
Chuck
I
did.
mean,
No, I went it's not, this is not a big, because if I had served Filkins Pinot Noir with that burger, it would have overpowered the burger. This
oh,
particular blend is velvety. It's velvety.
Uh,
Okay.
oh wow.
Because that Pinot Noir I was just like, whoa. I was just, you
Huh.
know, I've tasted a couple of Pinots from Burgundy that packed a punch bigger than some of these cabs out in
Really?
Napa.
Yeah.
And um, that Pinot that they had at Filkins was punching.
Hmm.
It was really punching. I wouldn't have
be
served
something to
that
keep
with
an
a
eye
burger.
on. The don't forget, it only needs to be what 85% of the grape to put the name on the bottle.
Yep.
Oh, okay. You're sure. In order for them, if it's more than, wait, if it's, okay, 85%. So if it's less than 15%, they don't have to write it. They don't have to mark it.
For the ingredients, correct.
Right. Well, this was 79. This was 79% Cabernet Sauvignon. So it wasn't
So
85.
In that case,
they
they have
list
to
it,
say Syrah. Right.
but so that's a Bordeaux blend, right? That's a left bank Bordeaux blend if it's Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot.
No,
And
it's
so
Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah.
okay. So the Syrah is what you're getting the fill with. Syrah
Okay,
from Michigan, you think?
Yeah.
So
I got
where
one
is
more.
Filkins? Sorry to cut you off. Where is Filkins Vineyard, just so I know?
It's in Coloma, Michigan.
Oh, that one's in Coloma. Okay.
Yeah, it's in Coloma, Michigan. I forgot the owner's name, but he's one of the founding members of One Republic.
Oh.
And he bought Karma Vista from the Herman family. and he's pumping enough money into it where they can do some stuff.
I guess.
And if they got Joe's Pinot Noir vines, Joe's been growing Pinot Noir for 30 years, so those vines are starting to come into a place where they're going to start making some really nice
Heavy,
wines.
heavy concentrated. Like I said, I tasted that Pinot. That Pinot just, oh my Lord, it's really good.
I got to get my hands on it now. All right,
So Ken,
yeah,
are you gonna open up your dining room for this wine tasting that's gonna happen? How are we gonna do this? We're going to Farmington Hills.
Well, I gotta console my wife first.
Yes, you do. Yes, you
Well, no,
do.
we can do it at Sante.
Oh,
As a matter of fact, Chuck, I got some text messages from Sante about
Yeah.
some upcoming wine
They have
tastings
some
they're doing.
blinds coming up. They're going to do some
Yeah.
blind tastings and some other tastings coming up. Yeah.
All right,
It
hook
is
me up.
fun.
I need to get over there.
Yep. I'll send you what I just got.
All right, sweet.
Because I'm tight with the Psalm over there. That's my niece.
is it August 19th?
July 29th, and I think another one is
August 4th or something like that.
Okay.
they're both on Wednesday, so I think July 29th and August 5th.
Yeah, something like that.
But I have one more food. There's one more food.
All right, let's do it.
Bring it.
Spaghetti with meatballs.
Come on, Ken. Can you get original here? I mean, this,
I'm thinking of everyday foods that people eat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a blend from folklore up in the tip of the mitt, and it's a blend of, I think it's Blaufränkisch, Zweigelt, and there's one other grape in the blend. And it would really go well with spaghetti and meatballs.
Or white wine.
no, that's a red wine, Ken. Come on.
Red wine all the way.
You know, I'm the novice of the group, so I'm still learning all this.
Now you can possibly hear me out. Either a straight Austrian Zweigelt or Zweigelt Rosé.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like that. Okay.
What's the Brian?
I'll defer to Chef first. See, because
Okay.
I got questions, Ken.
Okay,
I got questions.
I'm going to ask a follow-up question. Do your meatballs have just beef, or are they traditional in the sense that they have beef,
sausage and lamb?
pork?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, the classic, it has all three, and then it really rounds out the texture and the flavor.
I want to say it has all.
All three?
Let's throw another curve.
Uh-oh.
Are the meatballs oven baked or are they cooked in the sauce?
Oh,
Well,
dear.
both. For me, always both. But...
I'm gonna say cooked in the sauce.
Okay. So it's a Sunday sauce.
It's big, like you just get from Sam's Club. And you throw it in the oven and then you put it in your spaghetti. These are like real, like you make,
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, I learned how to make meatballs from my dad, and they were always the size of mini meatloaves. It was like all you needed was like really one meatball.
Yes.
And if you were a real glutton, you'd put two on your plate.
Those kind of meatballs I was thinking about, when I'm asking this question.
I think I might. Again, I'm going to defer to the wine experts, but I'm going to go like a super Tuscan, like a Sangiovese, that classic. It feels a little bit like a cop out to just say Chianti, but like that. It's hard. I mean, you have tomatoes, you have pasta, you have meat.
Tomatoes are the worst part.
Right. Yeah.
As far as wine pairing, tomatoes are the worst part.
Yeah. Well, what is that?
That's why.
Do I want to go?
Again?
Barolo or Barbaresco? And I might do a Barbaresco.
And he's going again.
I might do a Barbaresco.
Well,
We're talking about Italian wine now. I talked about Michigan wine first.
This guy.
oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, well, I'll make the meatballs. You bring 4 different wines, and we see what goes best. I think that's how this goes, right?
It's true. I've got one that'll win. The point that Chef brings up is very important, Ken. The ingredients of the meatball is very important to know, especially for pairing wines. The other piece that is very important to know, Ken, is that it's my understanding that in Italy, people don't eat spaghetti and meatballs. They eat spaghetti or meatballs. Meatballs is a course.
A meat course, a spaghetti course.
You don't put them together. Come on.
So is that an American thing then?
Yeah. Well, remember Italian American food, Chinese American food. They are appealing to the gluttony of Americans.
Yeah.
And not necessarily the traditions that they created.
The gluttony.
It's true.
It's real.
It's true. Number one consumer country.
So like you did like Panda Express and Sbarro's.
Yeah, those are great.
Okay, Panda Express would be a wild thing to do wine pairings for.
Oh, we can do it. It'd be easy. So the other question, Ken, is: are these San Marzano tomatoes or are they tomatoes from California?
High acid, low acid.
Because I really have no idea.
Or better yet, are they San Marzano tomatoes that Grandma crushed with her bare hands? Nona's got to crush them San Marzanos for it to be
true.
Gotta.
3 for $5 from Kroger. I know.
Last week, Kroger had a deal on those San Marzanos. I'm not Kroger. Costco had a 3-pack, 28-ounce cans. San Marzanos.
Okay. If I had the space, that's my problem. Whoa. If I had the space, so now that I know, now that I've been able to wrap my arms around what you're actually serving your children, you should be ashamed of yourself.
This is a working parent household.
If you're gonna start giving the kids wine, this is what I'd give them.
Okay.
I'd give them something with high acid. I mean, the acidity of the tomatoes is going to be a big issue with the whole thing. So it's almost like I want to go extremely bone dry Riesling from fresh harvest, so that the acidity is so high, or Sauvignon Blanc that's like ridiculously unripe, like New Zealand or something, because the acidity needs to match those tomatoes. Otherwise, it's just going to taste like water. You might as well go to something like the other way to counteract acid is with sugar. So you would go extremely sweet with like a Moscato,
or like
something that's going to be able to balance it,
or a
scales back,
or a sweeter Lambrusco.
Mm-hmm. But the Sangiovese based wines out of Italy are a perfect match for it, because the acidity will match the San Marzano tomato, and then you don't have to worry about all that stuff that goes with it. But it's truly science.
And that's what Chef said first, Brian.
So thank you for taking a full circle. That is the beauty of it. I mean, absolutely drink what grows with where the food grows. Yeah. I mean, it's not rocket science. I mean, yes, it can be, but I mean, I think sometimes in the attempt to be really highbrow, we lose the grounding foundation of what wine and food really is, which is you're trying to feed your family, you're growing some grapes, you're trying to make some wine for yourself. I mean, that's where it starts.
And Chef, that's another reason why Brian and I have been really trying to get more restaurants in the Detroit area to do more Michigan wines, because a lot of these Detroit restaurants are farm. They're allegedly farm to table, where they're sourcing as close to their restaurant as possible. But when you go and check their wine lists are French, Italian, German, and I'm still trying to figure, even if you're going German Rieslings, we have a number of Michigan Rieslings that have beaten German Rieslings.
Sure.
Absolutely.
For so long, I don't think it's the case anymore, but for so long, historically, Michigan wine wasn't good. So people automatically wanted to go to Europe because they're just default, whatever. Yeah, you make your Michigan wine, it's fine if you live there. But now it's different. I mean, I've had several, to your point, that are like, wait, this is Michigan wine? I'm blown away. And that is newer, and it's not people's instinct.
And so we've been trying to find a way to get people away from their instincts. And I still think a lot of it is we need to hit the newer drinkers that are a little bit more open to experimentation.
Yep.
But the bad thing about it is a lot of those kids are not going to go to a Selden Standard,
right,
and drop a couple of $100 on a meal and a wine pairing.
No, correct.
There's a whole big conversation to have about that, which we don't have time to do tonight. But there's no brand loyalty. There's no interest if it's not Instagrammable type of thing. There's a whole conversation to have about that, which unfortunately includes, like my children. So
mine too. I think let's not forget that the legalization of cannabis has hugely affected the younger market.
Yeah.
Not to sound like the grandma that I, will be soon one day, but like, people are going to pop an edible way before they're going to care about the nuances of wine. So I think to get that market, we have to shift at least a conversation about it, and to get people aware of it, that it's more approachable than they think it is.
Yep.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The one thing that I like to remind people about Michigan wine, however, is this: I was at a conference a long time ago, and one of the speakers for the sessions that I was in line with was a woman who was a managing director for a company called IRI, which is the competitor to Nielsen. And they, every barcode data thing that you scan at the grocery store is what they measure. And this was Michigan wine. And at that time in this conversation, they were saying that about 50% of the American population enjoys adult beverages. Mm-hmm. And of that half, about 20% enjoy wine.
Wow.
And of that 20%, 6% enjoy local wine. So my point to you is that Michigan wine has been fighting this fight for a long time. So you are absolutely right, is that when you go into Kroger and they've got 4 feet of shelf, and whether you're a vodka or a beer or a wine or now a THC based beverage, you are competing for that same 4 feet.
Exactly.
But I think where we're at in Michigan is, number one, thank you for the internet. Thank you, 2005 and Governor Granholm versus the Heald family. And now people have the ability to learn and have access to wines that aren't on that 4 feet of space. And some of these are, people I would consider my friends, but they just don't have a specific model that represents what I think Michigan wine should be known for. And to your point, Chef, is that Michigan wine has now had awareness to a lot of different demographics that can see what we're really doing around here, and raise that bar for what Michigan wine can be for a lot of people.
I agree.
Where we start is building community.
And I think to your point, that is why the story is so important. That is why it cannot be like every other bottle on the shelf. It has to have a hook, have an anchor. It has to make people pause and realize that what they're drinking is something special.
And Brian, that's what Brian Obrecht has really been doing lately with with Left Foot Charlie. Is he's been going to Chicago and New York and telling the story.
Yeah.
And
All about that.
and for the first time in a long time, I think it's getting traction. So I think he's been able to go in and kind of get the door cracked. And now it's time for everybody else to bum rush that door and knock it in.
Yeah.
Including us.
Yeah.
Guys, taste.
Spaghetti and meatballs.
Spaghetti.
Yeah.
Okay.
That too.
Well, thanks for your time tonight, Chef. Don't want to
Thanks,
keep you
Chef.
all night. We could probably do this all night, but anyway.
Exactly. That's why in person we'll do this and it'll go to midnight, right?
Yeah, Brian, we ended up at the end of the vinyl tasting, both vinyl tastings, just sitting there, and I'm trying to break down, but I'm so interested in the conversation that we keep going.
And that's why I love those chefs, man. That is all about story. That is all about the anchor of Detroit and those two spectacular humans and their connection to food and their families. And man, I love that. I love that enterprise. Unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town next weekend, so I'm not going to be at that one. But yeah, I'm all about it. I'm all about the story.
But I'm glad we met, Chef, and I truly believe that this is the beginning, because I think there's a lot that you can help us do with this community, with Two Guys Tasting, and basically because I think you embody what we're trying to do, which is reaching across the table, reaching across communities, and making sure that everybody gets heard, because we all have something to contribute.
Yeah, I agree. I'm on board. So let's do it. Let's do it. You might
All right, Chef.
Two guys and a gal, or we might we might need some adjustment, but yeah, no, I'm when we do a tasting, I'm game. Yeah,
we're working on that, Chef. That was something that I said that we need to have. We need to have a female energy amongst us, a hostess or something.
I'm not suggesting you should change your name. I'm just, I didn't mean to be presumptuous. I'm just saying in the future, yeah, absolutely. I'm game and I'm looking forward to the future.
Thanks, Chef.
Thank you, Chef. We'll be
Thank you,
touch.
Chef Allison. Pleasure to meet you.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Night.
Take care.
Ding, ding, ding. So what'd you think?